Okay, so this is my girlfriend, Natasha. Hi. She and I have been friends since we were 6, 7.
Yeah, 6, 7.
We grew up in church together, so we have been lifelong friends. And she is so kind to sit here and be in my chair. So I'm going to show you how, if you are around Natasha's complexion, you can use the Groundwork palette in a plethora of ways. Every shade in this palette was designed to be used by any and all complexions. So one of you all reached out to me. Oh, y'all can still see me. Okay. One of you all reached out to me and said, hey, I have the Groundwork palette. I am a deeper complexion. I only use like the same 3 shades. Can you show us how we can use this whole entire palette if we have a deeper complexion? And that's why she's here. So first we are gonna prep her skin. Skin prep is always a necessity, no matter if you have dry skin, normal skin, oily skin, you need to prep your skin first. And because the formula in these 2 shades are quite unique, so we have the Velvet Pomade formula. This formula is going to be, it's like magical because you can use it on any part of your face, lips, eyes, cheeks, eyeliner, for your brows. You can use it for mascara. It can be used for anything. The Set and Fix powder, this one is infused with Upsolite, so it's really great for controlling oils and setting the face as well. So before I go in with any of these, I want to prep her skin. Natasha has more dry skin, so we're going to start off with the Beauty Oil by Danessa Myricks. I probably will be using mostly all DMB products, if not all, most of them. But I do enjoy this beauty oil because it is a dry oil. So if you're not familiar with dry oils, they do absorb very quickly into the skin. So this type of oil you could use just on a regular day, like I don't have the time for makeup, but I do need to hydrate and moisturize the skin. You could put this on. It's also great to work under makeup because it absorbs quickly into the skin. So you won't have to worry about the makeup that you're putting on top peeling up or kind of, peeling up because the oil is too thick, because that's what would happen if you use like a really thick oil. So putting this on first, we can already see the juiciness coming into her skin. It's great. And she has like no pores at all, guys, so great for her. So for some additional prep, we're gonna go in with the Yummy Glow Serum. I like to go in with the Yummy Glow Serum, especially for individuals that have drier skin, because you cannot hydrate the skin enough. If she had more oily skin, or like for myself, if I'm going in with the foundation that has like more of like a natural finish, like nothing that's just like overly matte, I will go in with just the glow serum on its own. If I were going in with like a more matte foundation, then I would go in with both the beauty oil and the glow serum. But glow serum just adds another layer of hydration. I forgot the statistics for sure, but it boosts the skin's hydration over 100%. Like it has a lot of really great skincare ingredients in it. And it's also one of those components that you can apply just on its own and be out the door, or you can layer it under your makeup. Okay, so first we're gonna start with color correction. So we've got a little bit of darkness around Tasha's mouth, and then she has some darkness under her eyes. And so because of her complexion, the best color to color correct and brighten darkness with is going to be an orange color like this. So we're gonna go in with the Velvet Pomade formula in the shade called Core. I'm going in with the BK Beauty N16 brush. I really like this concealer type brush. So we're gonna go in here and start to even out some of the darkness. Like with anything DMB, less is more, meaning that you don't need to apply a lot to get the coverage that you want. And I love the Velvet Pomade formula because it's just really easy to work with. If Tasha were doing this herself and she were rushing and she didn't want to use a brush, she could use her hand. So I'm gonna go in with my finger and we're gonna take it, and it just blends really easily into the skin. It's one of those products that's very user-friendly. whether you are an experienced person with makeup or you're just getting into makeup. Danessa loves doing her makeup with just her fingers, so any product that she makes, she also wants to make it to where you can use any tool, and she always says that your best tool are your fingers. Look up. So now we're gonna go in under the eyes and just apply a little bit. And as you can see, Tasha, look at the camera. You can take a look and you can see a difference, and you've got more brightness here compared to the other side. Would you agree?
I would.
Okay. Here's a mirror in case you
I would.
Okay, great. So we're gonna even out the complexion here. Now, if you have drier skin, and just depending on like how you like for your makeup to look, you may not have to use a powder with the Velvet Pomade formula. I use a powder whenever I'm using the Velvet Pomade formula, because especially like if I'm using it on my eyes or on parts of my face creases, which most people's face will crease, especially in areas that already have creases. So I would suggest using a powder. Like if, let's say Tasha was like, I'm running and I gotta go, I'm just throw a little something on and go, I would just toss a little powder on to set it. So color correction is done, and now let's go onto the face. So I swatched a couple of shades on Natasha's arms because I wanted to see what do some of these lighter tones look like just in real quick swatches. So Tasha, we're gonna hold your arm up. Okay, so we're gonna teach her how to be an influencer. Okay, so she gotta hold your arm like this. Here we go. Okay, so this lightest shade here is going to be Sandstone. So this shade, and all the shades that you see swatched here are the Velvet Pomade shades. Sandstone. This next shade right here, which literally looks like her skin tone almost, is going to be the shade called Desert. Then we have Mirage, which is this color here. Chiseled, this color. Sculpted, this color. So, oh, and Stone is this color right over here. So I'm hoping you all can see them. I wanted to swatch them on her to get an idea as to how I could use the shades on her. And for shades like Sandstone and Stone, so Sandstone and Stone, I would reserve those for her eyes, because those would be areas of the face where I feel you could apply them and they not look awkwardly off. We're gonna try using Desert on the face for a little complexion. So I'm gonna go in with the same N16 brush from BK Beauty. Did I tell y'all where it was from? BK Beauty x Nikki LaRose. The brush collection is amazing, by the way. So we're gonna start off with the Velvet Pomade formula in Desert, and I'm gonna start in the center of her face, because if the shade is a little lighter, we will always like to have our lighter shades in the center of the face versus the perimeter. So we're gonna start right around here and blend into the center of the face. So this shade is a little lighter, but it works for the center of the face, because typically I would put a brightening type of concealer in the center of the face. And I'm not using a lot, so it's blending in actually pretty nicely. Tasha, what are your thoughts?
I like it.
Okay, you can be honest.
No, I do.
Okay. If you are, and I wish I could tell you, I know someone's gonna be like, what is her MAC shade? Do you know what shade you wear in MAC?
Nope.
Okay, and I don't either. Let's see. The Fenty Beauty Foundation. Don't you have that foundation?
Yeah, I do, but I can't remember the name.
Okay, so I'll put on the screen what shade she is in the Fenty Beauty Foundation. Yeah. She'll go home and tell us. So we're gonna now try to create a foundation for the perimeter of her face, right? So for instance, face mapping here. Is that the right term? I believe it is. We've addressed the center of her face. Now we wanna add some warmth and some depth. So we're gonna hit the perimeter of her face. So we are going to see if we take a little bit of Harvest, so I can get up close, you can see. We take a little bit of Harvest and mix in Bark. Now, Harvest has a nice warm kind of reddish undertone to it. Bark is going to be more brown, and it's also going to be more neutral. So she just asked me, like, what are the undertones in my skin? I feel like we've got some yellow toward the center of her face, but she also has some warmth as well. And I think mixing Harvest and Bark together might give us a nice little balance. So I'm gonna take my finger, because you know, I gotta experiment first. So if we turn to the side here, and we're gonna apply just a little bit here. So upon initial application, we see that Harvest is a little more red than what would be close to her skin, okay? So she could honestly, if she wanted to go for like a nice, like warm bronze look, she could use Harvest, but let's try to match her skin and then go in with the bronzer. So I'm gonna take a little bit of Bark now. I'm just using my finger, and we're gonna mix the two together. And I feel like we got a little something going on here. I probably could have used just a little less of Bark, but maybe not, I don't know. Okay. And then for the edges here, we can go back in with the brush that we used to apply the concealer and just blend these edges out so that we have no harsh lines and we've got a little bit more cohesiveness. I think for her forehead, what I want to do is go in with Harvest and just do the same thing. So we're going to just go in, warm up the perimeter, and then go with a little bit of Bark to add a little bit more depth and neutralize the tones in Harvest. And while we're here, I'll take a little bit of Bark and we'll start going in and adding a little bit more shape here. Taking a little bit more Bark and add this to the jawline to chisel her out.
Reading this neck.
Take a look at this side. We see we've got a little bit of dimension on this side compared to this side. Wait, you turned too far. Okay. All right, so let's go.
Because I can't tell.
Excellent. Let's go and do this side. So complexion is just about done.
You know,
so for her eyes, let's go in with Sculpted, this shade right here. I'm gonna go in with the Velvet Pomade shade. Start to run that into her crease. And we'll just do like a simple eye look. And like I mentioned earlier, I like to set the Velvet Pomade shades so that I won't have any additional creasing. And nothing's wrong with that. Creases are a part of life. So if you know that your eyes crease, you could even go with an eye primer. You just want to make sure your eyes don't crease. Let's go in with Tourmaline. It's the black here. I'm gonna go in with the Shape and Fix powder. That'll give me a way to set some of the Velvet Pomade shade along with using a different shade. And we're just gonna run that along the base of her eye and blend it up. Now I'm gonna go in with Stone. I feel like this shade right here is quite interesting in its tone. It looks a little like a sage green almost. It's like a cooler tone, grayish green color. So I feel like this shade here could be a little complex for more than just deeper skin tones to figure out how to use it. But like I said, I'm gonna use it on the eyes. I'm gonna go in, let's go in with Shape and Fix formula. And I'm gonna run this like right over the center of her eye. So this is going to create more of like a cooler toned eye look for her. And Tasha, ironically, even though she has more dry skin along the majority of her face, her eyelids are oily.
Yeah, they are. It's funny you said that because I was the other day.
So using this Shape and Fix powder will help to control the oils and keep her eye look looking matte throughout the day, because the Upsolite and the formula will help to do that. And then I'm going to go in with the Velvet Pomade shade just to add more depth to the center of the eye, because I can see her skin peeking through. And in this case, kind of want to blink it out a little bit. Now I'm going to take some of the Velvet Pomade shade in Tourmaline, the black shade. Okay, look up for me. We're going to hit the lower lash line. And I love to smoke out the lower lash line. But if you're someone who's kind of scared to smoke out the lower lash line because you're like, I don't want it to be too much, I don't want it to look too smoky, this is my tip. So I'm taking this black. I just realized I'm really close. My breath gets stink. I'm taking the black shade, right? So let's say you're like, I don't want it too intense, but I want to smoke, but I don't want it too intense. All right, so I'm gonna go with the black. Now I'm gonna take Sculpted, and I'm gonna go with the Velvet Pomade formula, and we're going to diffuse some of this intensity of black under her eye by smoking it with a shade that's a little lighter that will soften the harshness of the black. And I'm just gonna bring it in, and then I always like to bring the shadows up at an angle because we can lift the eye. Another reason why I like to smoke out the lower lash line is because it makes an eye look more cohesive. You don't just have shadow on the upper lid and nothing on the lower lash line. There's a time and a place for that, and if those are looks that you like, that's totally fine. But for me, I like a more cohesive look. And then two, it's another little tip. Even though sometimes I set my under eyes with powder, I'll notice that there still might be some creasing. So if I take a powder formula and I just smoke out that lower lash line, now I can blend out the creases that might have formed, and usually those creases don't form again. So smoking out the lower lash line for me has like a couple of different benefits to making like, not just so the whole look can be cohesive, but it also does help to diffuse settling that might have occurred earlier on. Okay, so now just to bring a little brightness to the inner corner of the eye, we're gonna go in with Sandstone. I'm gonna go in with the Shape and Fix powder. And close your eyes, and we're just gonna bring a little bit of brightness to the inner corner. So I'm just gonna apply that here. So eye look is done. Now let's go onto the face. So Core is such a beautiful shade. I love using Core as a blush, and we're gonna use it as a blush on Natasha. Smile, she has really great cheeks, and so we don't have to form a cheek because she already has really great ones. So we just add a little bit here. And I love mixing cooler and warmer tones. I love mixing like gold and silver together. So although the eye is a little smoky, because her skin has warmth to it, adding this shade Core just adds that warmth back to her face and helps to provide more dimension to the complexion and more light to the complexion. So Tasha, tell us authentic thoughts. How are you feeling about your face? What do you think?
I love it. I love, because you know I'm a natural girl, so you know I always wanted to make sure the foundation and everything. But I like that you could just reuse one palette and you've done everything on it. No, I love it. I have no complaints over here.
Yay, yay, and gorgeous.
It's bright, yeah, and bright my eyes too.
So I'm going to use for powder, I'm going to go in with the shade Mirage, and we're going to go in with the Shape and Fix powder to set her T-zone. Remember, with the Upsolite in the formula, we're able to blur pores, smooth out the complexion. Tasha has no pores, but we can definitely just make this T-zone a little smooth. We can make sure that the Velvet Pomade formula that we apply in the center of the face is nice and set. Yeah. And I'm only applying it to the center of her face because we don't want to take that glow away. There we go. All right, so we're gonna spray, going in with Danessa's, the Set It Forever Mist. I love the setting spray. It holds the makeup, sets the makeup, and if you do add too much powder onto your face, it will help to absorb that powder and just make the skin look nice and fresh and refreshed. It's beautiful. It's a really beautiful setting powder. And it's great for any type of skin. It's not gonna dry out your skin or anything. Okay, lastly, we've got lips. So Tosh, do you want a more warm lip? Let's see, you've got cooler eyes. Okay, I'm gonna do what I wanna do.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's go in first. I wanna go in with Sculpted. All right, so going in with Sculpted. And we're using this as her lip liner. So I like to bring the lip liner a little underneath her natural lip groove. Granted, Natasha already has full lips, so we're not necessarily doing this to make her lips fuller, but it helps to make your lips fuller if that's what you're trying to do. It also helps to make sure that when you are done, you can poke your lip out. Also make sure that you're lining the lip completely so you don't have like a gap between the base of your lip and then like where your lipstick would be placed. So I want to add some dimension because it looks like Tasha doesn't really have too much on her lips. So we're going to take some of Tourmaline, the black shade, in the Velvet Pomade formula, and we're going to add the dimension right here on the outer corner. It doesn't look like a harsh black. And also I'm not using a lot, so that helps too. I'm not going in with a ton of the black shade. I just wanted to bring a bit more dimension to her lip liner color. I top it with some Color Fix Glaze. So this looks like a gloss, but what's great about Color Fix Glaze is that it has a lasting effect. Where that glossiness does not fade over time. So you can use the Color Fix Glaze on your eyes if you want it like a glossy eye look. Or you can put it on your lips if you want like a glossy look to the lips. And unlike gloss and how gloss usually fades after a while, whether you're not eating or not drinking, Color Fix Glaze will not. Okay. And I think we are done. Okay, so we've got a full face using Danessa Myricks Groundwork palette. We were able to use did we use every shade? Yeah. I think we didn't use Chisel today, but did I use it on your eye? I think we did. I think we used every shade in the palette. If we didn't use every shade in the palette, the only shade we didn't use was Chisel, but I really think we used Chisel. So we used every shade in the palette. So hopefully if you're around her complexion, you're able to see that you can use every shade in the palette. In this case, we used it literally to do her whole entire face with complexion, concealer, powder, all of the above. Now, obviously, if this was not a look that you necessarily want to do, that's completely fine. But the purpose of this video was just to give you ideas as to how you could use every shade in the palette to use on your face, especially if you're someone of a deeper complexion. I hope that you found this video helpful. Tasha, would you like to give any last minute words, thoughts about the palette? How did it feel on your skin?
I love that you can use one palette for everything. And you know me as a newbie,
Yeah, she's a newbie.
I'm not into makeup, so just to have one thing and just hearing that this could use for this could use for concealer, I think this will help a lot of people out.
Yes, and I just realized this. We didn't do her brows, and even though her brows are amazing, if I were to do her brows, just to add a little something, I would mix in Sculpted and tourmaline. I don't want to go in straight with tourmaline because it is completely, it's just black. I would add just a touch of Sculpted because although her brows are darker, I don't want to make them too harsh. But as you can see, we could go in, add a little razzle dazzle to the brows, if that's what we wanted to do. And you can see, we just have a slight little difference to the brows. If she wanted more of like a intense look to her brows, then we would go in with just tourmaline and then do her brows that way. But that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed it. If there are any questions that you felt I didn't answer, leave them down in the comment section below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And if you made it to this point in the video and you haven't yet to subscribe to my channel, I would love for you to consider subscribing and joining the Glam Girl Squad because we'd love to have you. And guys, that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in my very next video. Bye, guys.
Bye.